there's an international building exhibition in Hamburg, and there's a heavy fight of activists and cultural producers against that exhibition, which tries to improve not quite a rundown area, so to say. But the argument is if we will improve, or if it will be improved, people can't live there anymore, especially illegalized people or very poor people, etc. And on the other side, I would say it's a conflict. It's really an area where people have bad situation for housing, where things has to be done. So how to deal with that conflict of upgrading means automatically people will be pushed out. So I think you said it a bit. But on the other side, you can't leave it as it is. Especially when I see here how people exist and how people just walk over people living on the street. I think it's not bearable, that situation. It's not at all an emancipative thing to say, well, people arrange themselves, or but it's cheap or whatever, poor housing, it will work. The other thing is, the other movement is that now people who can organize themselves. And I think that's a Freiburg model you mentioned, and there's a problem with that, because it's always these projects are middle class, educated, intellectual people who can organize themselves, who know how to go to the offices to find ways to solve problems. And on the other side, we have a severe cutdown of social housing. So it's obvious that the new projects are just coming out of that middle class, which helps not at all to other people, which can't organize themselves. And so we have that conflict, and more people are pushing now in Germany into the cities because of rise of transportation costs, because of they are more interested in cultural urban life. It's more fashionable now. It's like urban life is boring, etc. So the question is it comparable? How you deal with that? How you deal with the push into the city? And I think the same will be here, because gas prices will be not lowering, but be bigger. I don't know if it's so important to be in the city. In Germany, it's really important to be in the city because a lot of people have jobs and cultural things.
The amount of housing that's new and available for people who are on social assistance is minimal, and so that it's that kind of game when it has to look like we're responding to an issue where and throw these numbers out, and unless you go through and sort of watch them carefully, it looks like it's pretty impressive, but in fact it's quite dismal. Especially cast that against the multi-billion-dollar surpluses, both at the provincial and the federal level, and then this becomes an outrage.
As well in DC, we have unbalanced tenancy legislation, so it doesn't matter how long you've lived in your place. They simply say, they click something, they put an X on a sheet of paper to say that you're doing minor renovations and you can evict people. So not only is it SROs, but apartment buildings in the West End on Commercial Drive, people are being evicted basically on a monthly basis. In Ontario, it's much more balanced and you have much more rights. The government has the right to expropriate property and you have to pay fair market compensation. There's a whole bunch of rules around that. And with SROs, a whole series of groups were putting out ideas, a rent freeze, and even putting in the fact that these SROs should be expropriated because they're not meeting standards, and whoever owns them would get fair market compensation. In this case, the government, in buying these hotels, it wasn't actually the government. They set up a numbered company to go out and purchase these, so they wouldn't be impacting the market. They were respecting the market when they went out to the market, which meant that there were multiple bidders that simply went up and they were told to buy. So in the case of 334 Carroll Street and a number of them, and I don't know the name of this owner, I believe it's people who were opposing things then are still around opposing them in a different way. It's just not as
There's several 4 or 5 groups in Strasbourg, and put out a vision that says they want market housing and they don't want any more services, and they're attempting to take over all the downtown east side, east of Gore, and they just put up new banners naming that area, which is the heart of the downtown east side of Strathcona. So that's one organized force. Pardon?
You say the name is the name group, sorry.
Well, they put out a vision, I think the Strathcona Revitalization Committee or something like that, and it's 4 or 5 Strathcona groups. Then there's the city, the good old city, and Susan Anton making a motion to expand equal density to include the downtown side. And then that part disappeared and got morphed into a height study, which is about to be revealed at the end of this month, where the city hired a consultant to figure out where height